Okay, hello, hi everyone. Hey Preeti, hi Sapna, hi Dian, hi Naganandini, hi Naga Sai Kiran. Good evening, good evening. Okay, so 22 people. Yeah, hi Rubin Kumar. Yes, students are still joining. Okay, great. So now we are into the third day of JavaScript, and I guess you have learned the basics, right? And today we are going to basically learn about some of the few important concepts such as control flow statements and the loops which JavaScript gives you, right? And basically, I'll show you a few tweaks here and there, okay, and what you should use and what you should not, right? So let's see the agenda what we have for today. For that, I'll just share my screen. Just give me a confirmation, okay, if you are able to see my screen. So, right, let me just also open the chat real quick. Besides, just a minute so that meanwhile other students can join. I just open the chat. Right. Okay. So I see 31 people joining. Not a bad number. Okay, great. So my screen is also visible. Can see. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, great. So today we have for the agenda, like we have covered till this, okay, objects and data in JS. Now we have decision making and loops with JavaScript. Okay. So first we'll see how to like write conditional statements in JavaScript, and one of them, like the ternary operator, which we skipped yesterday, we will cover that also. Okay, so I'll just put that also here. Okay, so we don't forget. Right. Okay, so let's dive in and let me have my code data once. So this is yesterday's code. You might have already received it in the community. If not, it will be done. It will be done today itself. Okay, so let's learn the another way. Okay, I just deleted it. Just let me open up the folder again. Okay, so this is my folder. I am going to drag it into VS Code. So always right. So now we have learned one way of writing JavaScript. Okay, that is in the script. Now it's time to move. Like you can see, our code is becoming very long here, and it's hard to manage. So what we'll do is we'll try to move it to another file. Okay, for that I'll teach you how to write HTML, sorry, JavaScript in external files. Okay, so no, HTML, CSS will not be covered in this session. It's just JavaScript. I'll cover the basics, a little bit of HTML in the like maybe day after tomorrow. That is the last session where we'll be building project with DOM manipulation. Okay, so that will be doing. I'll teach a little bit of HTML. Okay, so let's create a folder for our day 3 lecture, and in that I'll create a index.html file. HTML file, and I'll create the basic template. Okay, nothing to worry about what this is and anything. I'll just remove the unnecessary part so you don't get scared after the tags. Okay. So now what we'll do is in this body we'll write a script. Okay, as always, this is the way we have been writing till now, right? We have been writing our scripts right here. So now what do we want to do is we want to move it to some another file. For that, let's have one script file. Okay, our JavaScript file. So we'll write it. I'll give it the name. What we're going to learn today is basically if and else, right? So I'll just write if else.js. Let's write it conditional statements so that you get it easy. It is easy for you to remember. Okay. Conditional statement .js. So JS files will always have extension of JS. Now let's try to link this file with our HTML file. For that, what we need to do is we need to provide an attribute called as src, which basically means the source of the external file which you want to link. right? And what we'll do is we'll give the source the name of our file, conditional statement.js. Okay, that's it. So I'll just give it a relative path, and let's see, we can travel to it. Great. So now to check if our file is working, what we'll do is we will just do a console.log, and we'll write hello from external script. I hope my screen is my code font visible? I forgot to ask you today. Sorry for that. Is the font visible, guys? Just give me a confirmation. Let me just zoom it by default. Is it visible, guys? Just put my phone right here for me to see the chats. Okay, so this is we have done. We don't need this file anymore. Okay, is this visible? People who are asking, like watching it in portrait mode, please switch to landscape. Okay, so now let's do one thing. Let's try to open our file, okay, in a browser. So what we'll do is the usual way, copy path. Let's open our browser, and okay, I'll zoom a little bit. Okay, so now let's go into our browser, and let's align it side by side as always. Let's get the basic setup done and try to open this file here, and we will go to our inspect element and into our console. Okay, and now you can see that we are getting like our external script is working perfectly fine. Okay, we can see the statement. So let's go and comment this out. Okay, so now what is a conditional statement? Okay, so now let's open. So in the agenda we have like if else, if else, and switch and ternary operator. Okay, so let's assume like you have a statement like you want to do two actions but based on a condition. Okay, so it's like if this happens you do action A, but if not you do action B, and that's basically it in if. Like let's take an example that like it's raining right here, right, and I have a plan to go out with my friends, but I say that if I have a like if it doesn't rains I will not go out. Sorry, if it rains I will not go out, but if it doesn't rain I will go out. Okay, so that's basically kind of a if statement which I am putting. Okay, that's basically an if statement which I am putting. So how to write an if condition in JavaScript? It's basically simple. What you need to do is let's write if statement. Okay, so the way of writing if statement is just put an if statement and write the condition here. Okay, is it visible now, guys? Okay, so let me have this problem sorted for you guys. Just give me a confirmation if both of the screens are visible. A final confirmation, please. I don't want to zoom in and out again and again. I'll just wait for 1 minute to have a confirmation from you. Everyone, please, like 36 people, just help me with this. Is my screen visible? The code, basically, the font size. Just waiting for your chats. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, so the way of writing if is like you basically write this if keyword with this brackets, and this will basically mention your condition. Okay, this will basically have your condition, and within the block of code you will write basically the code which has to be executed if this condition was to be true. Okay, if condition will only run if this condition is true. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, so the let's say we took this like is raining. Let's create a variable is raining. Okay, and by default it's false. Okay, let's keep it by default it's false. So if is raining, so if this value is to be true, then only this code will run. Okay, so I'm writing the code as console.log, I will go out with my friends. Okay, now let's try to run this. Okay, now let's try to run this, and you will see that nothing is being printed. Why? Because this is not true. Okay, so let's try to change this to true, and let's see what we get. Now see, you see the difference, right? That's basically it, the if condition. Now you can put anything here, right? Let's do some comparison. Okay, let's do some real-time comparison. If 5 is greater than 3, into this, it will still work because 5 is greater than 3, which results in true, and therefore this, your control of your statement comes down, and this code is printed. Okay, now this is basically the if statement. Now what if you want to also consider what happens if this statement is not true? Okay, now let's move back to our previous example, is raining. Okay, so if it's raining, I'll go out, but what if it's not rain sorry, if it's raining, I'll not go out. Okay, so I will not, I just basically did a wrong statement. If it's raining, I'll not go out. Now what I need to do is just put the remaining part in the else block. However, this else block is optional. Okay, this block is optional. It's not compulsory to be written with if. But if you want to also consider statement like code, which should be uh, which should be running if the statement is not fulfilled, then you should write it in the else statement. And one more thing: do not write anything here. Okay, this space is not to be utilized. After your if block ends, it should directly have an else if or a else statement. Okay, so let's write console.log. I will go out with my friends. Now let's see what happens. Okay, now let's see what happens. So let's make this false. Let's make this false. Now you will see, now you will see that it is automatically taking the values which I am putting. Okay, if I do false, then it, the control comes to this statement, the line basically here, it checks. If it's raining, the control goes to false. You can see the value, it's false. So it basically skips this whole block, and the control comes to the else block. Okay, and this statement is executed, that is, I will go out with my friend. Okay, this is basically if and else statements. Any doubt till here? Any doubt till here, guys? Any doubts in understanding the if else statement? Just give me a confirmation. I'm just waiting for your confirmation, guys. Okay, where is the chat? Where is the chat? Clear, clear. No, sir. Thank you. Okay, so now there's another case. Okay, there's another case. So let's have another case. Okay, so now let's take the common example of writing your grades. Okay, so you have some score, you have to enter your score, and based on the score, you have to give grades to the candidate. Okay, so let's basically write the problem statement here. So if, let's make a table. Okay, if the grade is, you can say, between 75 to 100 or above 70, the grade should be A. Okay, a classic example, and many students use the wrong approach, and I'll tell you why, what should be used and why what should not be used. And anything from uh, 60 to 75 is basically B grade. Okay, then you can say anything from 35 to C is C grade. I'm just taking random numbers. Okay, don't actually match it with the correct ones. And anything below 35 is basically fail. Okay, we're just having 4 conditions, that's it. Okay, so let's try to write it via code. Okay, let's try to write it via code. Now for that, what we'll do is we'll have a variable. Okay, we'll have a variable called marks. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll assign it to a value let's assign it a value for now as 75. Okay, and let's start writing the if code. Okay, if marks is greater than or equal to 75, what should happen is, let's again put a variable called as grade. Okay, let grade. So it will be by default the value of grade will be undefined, as I'm not defined any value. So grade equal to a. Okay, now we are going to use else if, because we have multiple statements. Okay, we have multiple statements here. So for that reason we are going to use else if here. We want to check multiple if conditions. Okay, so we come in below here, else if okay, else if marks are greater than or equal to 60, grade equal to b. Okay, now similarly, else if marks are greater than or equal to 35, we have to write grade equal to c, let's close our bracket, and anything below that is false, right? So let's put that in else grade, let's put this f instead of fail, let's put this f, grade is equal to f. Okay, so now let's do a console.log at the very end. Okay, we will use our templating literals. I hope everyone is with me. So we can say the candidate has scored, and we will also print the values marks, yes, marks and secured and secured the grade. Okay, we are going to print the grade also, grade. Okay, so this is basically the function we have written. We'll just go through it again. What we wanted to do was print the grade of the candidate based on the students marks. So we declared a variable marks, then we had grade, and we did if condition, and to check if it's above 75 put a, if it's like between above 60 do this, if it's above 35 do this, else print f. So let's try to run this. So you can see that the candidate has scored 75 marks and secured a grade. Okay, so now let's try to change this value. Okay, now let's try to change this value. Now let's try to make this 55, and let's see what our output is. It will showing the candidate has scored 55 marks and secured C grade. Everything clear till now, guys? Everything clear till now? Why we use how we use if else if statement? There's a small bug in this code. There's a small bug in this code. I'll just tell you. So till here, anything like everything is clear. Whatever we have learned in else if. Hi Himanshu, good to see you again today. Guys, give me a confirmation. It actually helps me to whether to repeat or go ahead. Right? Just wait for your confirmation. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now what will happen is how else if basically functions. Okay, the moment it finds a true value, it will not check other statements. Okay, so suppose your condition is satisfied in the first block itself, it will simply ignore the other three conditions. It will simply ignore them. Okay, so now to see basically, right? So let's tweak the statements a little bit to see the bug. Okay, let's tweak it, so you'll come to know. Let's make this as, okay, let's do one thing. Instead of this, let's make this 60 and make this 75. and make this B and make this A. Okay, so now you'll see that our value 75 is greater than 60 also, is greater than or equal to 70 also, but is also greater than 35 also. So in this case, what will happen is your code will go into the first statement, check if the value is greater than 60. Yes, it's greater than 60, and it will print this, which is basically wrong, right? The candidate should have got a grade. So let's see this. So see, even if the candidate has got 75 marks, still his grade is B. That's because of the bug in this code, which we can solve with the help of operators, which we learned yesterday, the logical operators, right? And or, right? So let's repair our code to make it correct. I hope you understand the bug, right? So let's continue with this. We will write an and statement. We want to check both the statements, right? And marks is less than equal to, just a minute, I'm getting a call, just a minute guys. Yep. Okay, so we're back. So if marks are greater than 75 and marks as less than equal to, can you just give me what I should write here? Seeing this, what should I write here? So I'll write 100 here. Okay, so we can basically do the same, we can copy paste the same thing, and marks are less than, basically you should use less than in the second statement. No, not directly 35, not directly 35, you want to go 60 to 75, right? So is less than 75. Okay, and an and statement here, and greater than, basically less than skips the, basically excludes the value like 60. If you are doing less than 60, it will just consider till 59. Okay, 60, right? 7560, great, thank you. So now this will basically solve our bug. Okay, this will basically solve our bug. Now what will happen is, if you are doing like if you are doing uh, greater than, if you are putting 75 here, okay, and even if you put a statement here, it will not work. Okay, so that's how you have basically fixed the code. And I hope else if is now clear. It's nothing like, nothing complex. It's basically writing your if conditions, but multiple if conditions. Okay, RKD programmer, just wait for the session to end and just contact our support team. Okay, yeah. So now I hope the if else and else is clear to you guys, right? And we have basically, see, that easy it was to clear these three concepts, right? You basically covered these three concepts very fast. It was nothing like, nothing complex. Is it clear guys? Is it clear? Is if else like, yes sir, great, thank you. So let's before we move on to switch, right, I want to teach you ternary operator. Ternary operator is basically an easier way of writing if and else. Okay, so you don't need to write this much big block. What you need to write is just basically is this. So let result equal to, so how the syntax is basically simple. The syntax is basically simple. It's condition value if true colon value if false. Okay, this is basically the syntax for the ternary operator. You write your condition. If it's true, whatever you write here will be printed. If it's false, whatever you write here will be printed. Okay, that's basically ternary operator. So your whole if and else thing comes directly to one line. Okay, let's try to do this. Okay, we will basically replicate this with if else, sorry, with ternary, and as a homework you will have to convert this thing with the ternary operator. Okay, I'm getting some error here. Don't know why. Let me try to run this code. Okay. My variable is not completed. So let result is raining. I want to check if it's true, right? I want to check if it's true. So is it true? Then I'll just copy paste this code here. See how easy it is. Okay. So I by default, oh shit. Let's close this. Okay. So just see how easy it is. Is raining. If true, what I want to print is this. And if it's false, what I want to print is this. Okay. Now what we are going to do is I'll just comment this code out. I'll just comment this code out and we'll try to see the result. Okay, we'll try to see the result. Now you can see it is basically showing the same thing. You can see the value of raining is false here, and that's why the second statement, that is this statement, is being executed. And that's basically the ternary operator, okay, which helps you. So let's try changing the value to true here. Okay, let's try changing the value to true here. Now you can see it is basically changing the output accordingly. I will not go out with my friends, right? Is this clear, guys? Is the ternary operator and how to use ternary operator clear to you? A quick confirmation in the chat, please. Just okay. So far, everything easy for you guys. So far, everything easy, right? Great. So now we will go to the next thing, that is the switch statement. Okay. So now basically when to use switch statement is like you have to decide, okay, when to use switch statement. The only difference, like majority of the time you will use if, because you will have to always compare something with the ranges. If you have definite value and you don't have a lot of cases to consider, you can basically go to switch statements. Okay, so the syntax of switch statement is very simple. Okay, so let me create something called as day. Let's do it for month. Okay, let's do it for month. Month equal to 1. Okay, now what I can do is I can do a switch statement. And what do I want to switch? So this is basically the syntax. So this is the reason I've just printed it like that. So just let's learn this syntax. Okay, I'll just comment this out. Let's learn this syntax before we go ahead. I'll Sumedh, just wait till the end. Just wait till the end. I'll just solve your doubts. Okay. And full stack web development course next batch is starting on 30th of October. If you're looking for morning batch, it's starting on 15th of 20th of October. Okay, so I'll share you my email address. Okay, so you can reach out to me there, right, for anything regarding the full stack course. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, so now let's study this thing. Okay, so what is the syntax? So it basically will switch as in it will every time put one value, one key. So basically in this case your key will be the month, okay, which we want to compare. Now in case you basically have to put the value, that is 1. So if the case is 1, you have to do something. You have to do something. So let's write console.log and remove this code. Let's write console.log and let's just put January. Okay, we are basically printing the months. So if case is 1, the month is January, and we need to break out of the switch case because we have got our answer, and that's the reason we'll have to break out. Okay, so let's replicate this for 12 times. 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 12. Okay, so let's now basically change this to 3 4 6 8 Okay, did I do some? It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, 11 12. Okay, so now let's go. Sumit, I'll do one thing. I'll call you myself. Okay, so just do one thing. Wait a minute. Okay, I'll just help you out right away. So just be there. Okay, just fill this form and relax. Just fill this form and relax. Okay, just fill this form and I'll call you myself and I'll help you with the full stack codes. Okay, so getting back into the code, let's basically fill the values real quick. February, March, April, May, June, July, September. Apply and bind, we are not going to apply, bind and call, we are not going to study here. It's kind of advanced concepts. Okay, so we are not going to cover it here. If time permits, at the end of like the last session, I'll cover few extra concepts like you have mentioned, right? So I'll write it in agenda. Okay, just wait a minute. After this question, I'll write it in agenda for extra if time permits, right? I'll tell you that also. Okay, so now just a minute, guys. I have to turn on the AC. Just a minute. Okay, right. So okay, so now let's study this. Okay, so what I've done is I have given a month here, and every time this switch will consider like switch in this case, switch this for each and every case. So if I have given the month as well, it will come to the first case. It will check. It will whatever like execute whatever the code is between, and we want it to break. Okay, we want it to break, or it will just continue going forward. Okay, unnecessarily, it will just continue going forward. Okay, and another keyword which is very important is default. What default does is, in case like none of the case match. Okay, if like a user gives an input which is not handled in your case, so you should write a default case that let's write in this case, it will be console.log. You have entered an incorrect month. Okay, you have entered an incorrect month. So let's try to run this. So this is basically pretty much the switch case. Yes, so let's try to run this. So you can see it's January. Okay, you can see it's January. So now let me try to switch this to fourth month. Okay, now you will see it is April. So now I'll try giving it 15, and you can see it is like going into my default case, that is you have entered an incorrect month. Okay, so is this clear? Is the switch case clear, guys? Is the switch case clear? Just give me an answer. Till then I'll write the agendas mentioned by the person here. Okay, if time permits, what all things I'll cover. But apply, but bind. Okay, okay, I'll basically teach you a few concepts extra if I get time of ES6, that is restructuring. Have to, if you have any like clear. Okay, so this is just for extra. If we get time, we will study these parts. Yes. Okay, just let's do that, right? We have been just doing it from the code. Let's do that. Okay, so we yesterday learned, right, how to get, no, it will not just, yeah, so it will depend basically whatever text you give. Okay, whatever text you give. So if I to mention it as a, it basically its value, right? If I was to mention it as a, and I will have to mention a here as well. Okay, the value basically should match. Okay, it's nothing to do with numbers on string. The value basically should match, and you will still get January. Okay, you can just put anything, but the value, this value and this value should match. Okay, now let's try to print it with a user input. Okay, and can we like, can you just tell me how you can get a user input? We just saw it in yesterday's boxes, like we did alert, prompt and confirm, right? How do we get input from a user with the help of those pop-ups? How do we get user input from pop-ups? Prompt, great. So let's write prompt. Please enter a month number, and by default we'll keep it as 1, so that we don't get any errors. Okay, and let's try to run this. Now you'll see it is asking us a number, so let's try to enter 5. Now can you just tell me why it is going into the error mode? Why it is going into default case? We have entered 5 and still it's going into the error. We have entered 5 as the number and still it's going into the default case. Anyone knows why this happens? So let's understand. Okay, let's understand why it's happening. Yes, 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 the data type is string. So see, let's try to console log the type of month. Okay, let's try to see what this gives us back. Okay, and we will see the problem where what is the problem. We'll see it is coming as string, and our case is not made to handle strings. It's made to handle numbers. So one thing which you should understand is from the yesterday's code, like the boxes, right, the alert boxes, right, alert, prompt and confirm. Confirm will always give you boolean values. Prompt will give you anything back in a string. Okay, so you'll have to explicitly convert it. You will have to explicitly convert it. So I'll just remove this. Let's try doing this. So we need to do a type conversion here. So I'll just put everything in a bracket. Now let's try to see first how this goes ahead, or else I have to separately declare a variable. Now you can see it is working fine, right? Now you can see the type has changed to number and the month is printed to May. So that's basically how you can do it. Yes, 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 can we can change, we can change. See, we have to just do the type conversions. Okay, so you have to just convert it to a number, right? How to run JS file, Rohit, is basically just link it to your HTML file, and you can do this. If you have Node.js, it's basically just simple as you can just write node and just write the file name. Okay, if you have Node.js, and it will start running in your terminal. Okay, so is this switch case, is this clear, guys? Is this clear? So we can move on to the next and very important agenda, that is loop. Okay, so I hope this is clear, right? It is very easy, right, guys? Clear, great, great, thank you for that confirmation. So let's go on to our next statement, and what I'll do is I'll basically replicate this. So this is how we are going to keep our scripts there. So you can basically see whatever you want, you can just comment, uncomment and utilize them. Okay, so in this case now I will create it as loops.js. Okay, so I'll basically need to create the file loop.js console.log. So it's a good practice to always check if your file is linked. Okay, so let's check if that's running. Hello from loops. Okay, so it's running. right? Great. So now let's learn about loops. Let's learn about loops. So the type of loops which we are going to study here is, so we have covered this. I'll just drag it. Okay. So this two parts, right? These two parts, for in, okay, for in we can do, for off we can do. There is one more which I would like to teach you. We'll basically cover it in functions, but I'll still be writing here. That is for each. Okay. We have one more loop that is for each, which will basically ease your way of like using loops, but we'll cover this in functions. Okay, so we'll cover this after functions because it includes functions. Okay, so you'll have to understand that. So basically we'll just cover while, for loop, int, and one more is there. There is while and there is do while. Okay, so we have this many loops to cover. So let's take this to the code. Okay, let's write it down each and everything. So first thing we are going to learn is for loop. Then we have a while loop. Then we have do while. Okay, then we have for off. Then we have for in. Okay, then we have for in. So we are going to basically study this many loops, and if time permits we will start with functions also. Okay, yes, you can do parse int. Okay, so the only difference between using parse int and the only difference between parse int is you can basically understand, like if you have a number something like uh, something like this. Okay, it will just parse the integer part. Okay, it will just parse the integer part and it will exclude this part. Okay, so it's like parse float is there, parse int is there, so it has a difference between just a number conversion. It will round off, but parse int will just take this value and it will totally ignore this part. Okay, so I use a lot of snippets. Okay, so I'll maybe in the last day I'll show you a list of snippets I use. Can we line more than one JS file in the src? You will have to use multiple scripts, multiple script tag. You can not do comma comma comma, that's not allowed. Okay, now let's move ahead. What's the time? It's 7:40, right? So let's see how to write for loop. Okay, so your for loop will have three parts. That is the start. It will have the start, it will have a condition, and it will have a step. Okay, step basically means the increment part. Okay, it basically means the increment part. So before we learn that, let me teach you the increment part. So you have a number. Okay, let's say you have a number called as 6, and you do num is equal to 6 plus 1. Okay, now your bot, what basically you're doing is you are incrementing it by 1. Okay, so this is the ideal way to do that, which usually you will do, but there's a shorthand for that, that is 6 plus plus. So let's try to console.log here. Let's try to console.log postfix operation. Okay, so sub yes, okay. So yeah, so one error which you will find is we are basically operating it, and it will, what it will do is first it will like uh take this number and it will just assign 6 and then it will increment. Okay, so num, it what to do is plus equal to 1. Okay, you have to increment it by 1. Again some error, start is not defined. Okay, just let's comment this out. Okay, so now what I have done is, so basically what I've done is basically this, num is equal to num plus 1. Okay, it's not 6 plus 1, it was num plus 1. This is basically what I did with a shorthand like this. Okay, similarly you have other forms, you will have other forms like you have into equal to 1 or into equal to 2. Okay, so let's try into equal to 2. What it gives, it will give you 16. So what happened here is it was 6, num is equal to num plus 1 made it 7, num plus equal to 1 made it 8, into equal to made it 16. Okay, similarly you will have num this will make it 8 again. Okay, so you'll have, so all the mathematical operators you can use like this. Okay, and similarly we'll have for decrement also. Okay, so this is one thing, and we are basically going to use this. Num plus plus will kind of cause issue because when you're operating, right, when you're operating with a number, so what it will do is basically it will first assign the value. So you'll have to do pre increment. The postfix will kind of create an issue there. Okay, so now this is basically an example which I wanted to give you. So let's go on to the loops. Okay, let's study the loops. So in the way of writing for loop is just write the for keyword, create a bracket, and write this. So now we want to give three parts here. Okay, let's differentiate this with a semicolon, three semicolons. Okay, we have three semicolons, and if I hover over this, so let's write a variable let I. So what our condition is, we want to print numbers till 10. Okay, let's keep it simple. Let I equal to 0. By default the value of I is 0. Okay, now we want to do is check if I is greater than, so smaller than equal to 10. Okay, check if it is smaller than equal to 10, or we want to do I plus plus. Okay, we want to increment I. Okay, so now let's try to just log the I, just try to log the value of I. So let's study this. I is a I by default will be 0. In the first loop, what it will do is it will check if I is greater than, sorry, I is smaller than equal to 10. Yes, it is smaller than equal to 10. The control will go down to this console.log. It will print, and then it will again come back to the this part. Okay, so now how it functions is it checks the condition, and it executes the code. This is the flow. Executes the code, and then it steps the condition. Okay, steps the basically the value. Okay, it will do I plus plus, and then your I will become 1. It will again come here. It will check if I is smaller than or equal to 10. Yes, it is. It will again run this. Again, it will go to the step. Okay, for of and for in, I'll tell you how to do that. Okay, it's nothing, it's very easy. So see, we have managed to like print 10 things, like 10 numbers right here. Okay, we have managed to do this. Is this much understood? Is this much understood? So we have printed values till 10. Okay, did you get this, guys? Did you understand the for loop? Just waiting for your confirmation, guys. Yes, thank you. So now what we are going to do is we are going to basically do the same code with multiple like various type of loops. Okay, various type of loops till here basically. Okay, then we will do is we will use arrays to iterate over this. Okay, so now the way of writing while loop, the way of writing while loop is you must specify while. Okay, I'll, if I get the syntax, yes. So this is the place. Okay, now see, all the loops will have this parts. Okay, all the loops will have this parts, but the places of like where they are. Okay, Abu, I'll explain you again. Okay, so see, for loops will basically have four parts. Okay, you will have the starting part where you declare the variable, or we can say just start, or I can just write it declare the variable, right? And you put the condition to be checked, then it executes the code and it steps the variable. Okay, so now let's understand with this. What we did is we wanted to print numbers till 10. Okay, we wanted to print numbers till 10. So at the initial start, we declared a variable called let I equal to 0. Now we wanted a condition that we wanted print numbers printed till 10 including 10. Okay, including 10. That's why we have written less than and equal to 10, and we are incrementing every time by 1. Okay, and then we are just console.logging, just printing the value of I. So by default, when the first time it will run, your control comes to this declaration, it will check if 0 is smaller than equal to 10. Yes, it is. Then it goes to the third part, that is execute the code. It will execute this code and it will step up the variable. It will step up the variable. And now I is 1 again. Okay. So that's what happens basically. Abu, is this clear now? Right. So now let's see how these four parts are aligned into the while statement. Okay, let's see how these four parts are aligned in the while statement. So for while, what it does is you will have to declare a variable outside because you don't have any space of declaring variable in there. So what I'll do is let x equal to 0. Let x equal to 0. Okay, now the second thing, the condition has to be written here, right? So while x is less than equal to 10. Okay, while x is less than equal to 10, the third part is execution of the code. So just see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just converting a for loop into a while loop. Okay, we're just converting a for loop into a while loop, right? And what I'm doing is next, now the stepping up the variable, right? It, like it is in the same line here, it has to be given x plus plus. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's the same for loop written as a while loop. Okay, so you have the declaration of the variable, you have a while. Okay, for your reference, just write, let me write this. Okay, so meanwhile you can tell me if it's clear. I'll just convert it to a syntax for you, and just tell me the chat if it's clear. Meanwhile, I'll just convert it into a syntax for you guys. Okay, so this is basically the code. Okay, this is basically the code for that. So for your understanding, I've written it here. To declare the variable, you write the while keyword, put a condition, right? Clear? Easy, pretty much easy till now. Right? So yeah, let's see another loop. Let's see the third loop. Right? uh do while. Okay, so now it's basically the same thing, but the while condition comes at the below. Okay, let's try to convert the same, again the same example of printing numbers till 10. Let's try to run this first. Okay, I is not defined. Okay, I guessed missed it. Yes, sorry, I actually saw someone in the comment writing it. I missed it, sorry for that. Yes, now you can see we again have the same numbers printed. Okay, so let's try to do it with a while do while loop. Okay, so first the syntax do. Okay, so now let's understand the syntax. Again, we will need a declaration of the variable. Let y equal to 0. I'm just keeping all the variables separate for your understanding. Let y equal to 0. Now again, we have four things, right? We have start, you have condition, you have code to be executed, and you have the increment or decrement of the variable. These four things form the part of your loops, right? So we have declared the variable. Next thing we want to do is put the condition. Now you can see the place of the condition is at the end in the while. So it's like do this while this is true. Okay, do a particular statement while the condition is true. So first it will do this. Let's put the condition. Okay, why even am I copying? And what it has to do is console.log the value of y and y plus plus. So let's try to run this. Let's try to run this and see what do we get. So you see that we are getting again the same. We are getting the same output. Okay, we are getting the same output. So now there's a little difference. Okay, there's a little difference between while and do while. Okay, you will. So there are basically these three loops which I've learned, right? For while and do while have kind of you can say are called with some names. Okay, so okay, so for and while are basically controlling the entry of the program. Okay, so basically they check at the entry itself. You can see when you declare the variable, first it is checking, right? So they are called as entry control loops. Okay, they are called as entry control loops. Entry control loops. Okay, so for and while are called as entry control loops. So interview question which can be asked. Okay, these are called as entry control loops, but in the case of do while, right, you can see that what it is does is I have declared a variable. First it is executing. First it is executing, and then it is checking. It is checking at the end, and that's why do while is called as exit control loop. Okay, do while is called as exit control loop. Is it clear, guys? Is this clear? Hi Viplav. So hi there. So yeah, Viplav is kind of one of my student in the PGP program. So here's again here. Okay. So this is the difference between do while, and for loop. Is this clear, guys? Is the differentiation clear? Right? Easy, pretty much easy. Nothing much complex. Sandipan, semicolon is kind of not you can say compulsory, but it's a good programming practice, because in case you write two lines with together, it will create a problem. Great, thank you for that. Now okay, so now we have just okay, so now it's very much kind of bored, like you must have just bored with doing like with this with just numbers. Now let's create an array. Okay, let's create an array and do things with arrays. Okay, so now what I'll do is, let's declare an array. Let arr equal to, I'll basically write a name of the few students here in the class. So I have Himanshu, I have Rohit, and I have Viplav. Hey Viplav, tomorrow be ready to code HTML. Great. Okay. So we have DN, and we have Sumed. Okay, I guess this much is okay. This much is fine. Okay. So let's try to print the array first. Let's try to print the array first. Let's see how it looks. So we have five values. We have five values, and very important thing to note that arrays are stored with indexes. Okay, so let me first teach you a few of the properties of an array before we move on to the how to print it. Okay, because it is kind of important. So you can say array starts with the index of 0. Okay, so just arrays starts with index 0, and the length is basically, you can say, index the number of indexes plus 1, or you can just do it elsewhere, like opposite. The number of indexes available will be always length minus 1. Okay, the last index is always equal to length minus 1. Okay, so there are a few properties I will teach you. So if you want to print the length of an array, you can just do array dot length, and it will basically print you the, okay, it's not a function, sorry, it's not a function, array dot length. You can see it has printed 5. Okay, so it is showing that 5 elements are printed. If I want to access any of the element, if I want to access the first element, I can do array of 0. That is the basically the first element that is on the 0 index. And if I do this, I'll get Himanshu here. Okay, yesterday I had not given any assignments. Okay, so this is basically a few properties. One is array dot length, and one is I'll just accessing the console.log array dot length. Okay. So I'll tell you a few more of them as and when we will use them in the projects, right? So this is the thing. Let's try to print this. Okay. So now what we need to do is we are basically going to iterate over this array. Okay. Let's try to do it using a for loop. Okay, let's try to do using the for loop. So for loop on an array. Okay, for loop on an array. So I'll basically just take like 20 more minutes. Just bear with me, guys. So let's try to print all the elements in the array. So write a for loop. As always, we have our variable. Okay, what is our variable? ARR. So you don't need to do for. Okay, what will do? Nothing. You can just skip it. Just skip it. You already have the variable declared. Just skip it. For ARR less than ARR dot length. Okay, point out if I'm doing any mistakes. Okay, point out if you are doing if I'm doing any mistakes. Did I do any mistake? I just want to check if I did any mistake. I'm just stopping here. People who already know the for loop, did I miss the syntax? Did I do a mistake? No, that's not the mistake I did. Okay, so as I said, right, we play with indexes. We play with indexes. Okay, we play with indexes, and we have nowhere like used indexes. So again, we have to declare let I equal to 0, because I always told that how you have to print the element is using the index. So this index you have to iterate. You cannot get access to the elements directly with the for loop, right? So by default, the for loop will be 0, and again the same code we have to write that I is less than, you can say array dot length, less than. Okay, not less than equal to, it's less than, because the indexes will always be equal to n minus 1. Okay, and you have to do I plus plus, and just the simple thing console.log. Now a little tweak here which you have to do is we cannot directly print I, it will just give you the index. Okay, let's try to do this. It will just give you the indexes, that is 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, it's just giving you the indexes, right? Now but what do we want is this part, right? So let's try to put this part like accessing the array. So we want to access the I array, and the index of that array should always change based on the loop. So I. Okay, so this is this, and then now let's try to do this. Now we have successfully printed the array, guys. Is this clear? How to print the data in an array using a for loop? Sumer, yes, you can use for loop. I am going to teach it. I am going to teach it tomorrow. Okay. Okay. So now I have done it using for loop. Your homework, another homework will be to do it in do while and while loop. Okay, you will have to print an array using do while and while loop. I'll give the assignment today. Okay, so I'll just write here homework do print elements of array using while and do while. Okay, this is one of the homework. Okay, so you'll get to practice. If you go wrong, no worries, tomorrow I'll tell you the answers again. Okay, we'll first cover the answers and then we'll go ahead, right? So now new things for off and for in. So what is for off and for in is basically kind of a easy way to okay, where's the chat gone? Just a minute. Assignments guys, I'll just give you assignment guys, I'll give you, so don't worry about it. Okay, so see what basically is for and for of is basically it helps you to iterate over objects, arrays, strings, basically an iteratable object. Okay, it helps you basically iterate. So every time for loop, so basically you don't have to specify all these things. You basically don't have to do it all these things. Is basically takes care of it behind the hood. Okay, it takes it behind the hood. Just a minute. Okay, it will basically take any guys, where can I get the assignments? It will be posted to the community, and I'll also show you the questions at the end of the session. So just wait till then. Okay, just wait till then. So now, first of all, let me explain you what is like for in. Okay, for in. So we have this array, right? We have this array. So I'm going to use the same array for like printing. So the statement you will see the let me write. So what you have, the syntax is very basically simple. It's like you have to write for. Okay, you have to just create a variable. Let's take x. Okay, in For in, so in which kind of object do we want to, in which kind of array or object we want to do it, we have to just do it. Let's try. I'm not sure if it will work with array, because for off works there. I'm just trying it with array. Basically it will work with object. So let me try this also. ARR. Let's try if this works. I'm not quite sure, I've never used it in an array. It did okay, it did. So again, the same way, what I have to do is ARR of x. ARR of x. See, so all this code, right, all this messy code just in this. So for off is again the same thing. Instead of in, you write off. Okay, so let me basically comment this out so you that get to know the difference. Let's refresh this. Okay, some issue showing undefined is for off. Okay, for x in ARR, it's some mistake here. Just a minute. Yes, can you just help me find the mistake here? What did I do? Quickly, those who have already learned for off. Come on, come on. Let me just open the chat. Okay, so I'm just waiting for you to help me out, guys. Just help me out with this. What mistake I have done? Print x. Okay, let's try to do that. A small, it's basically a small difference. Okay, it's basically a small difference, not a big difference. X will still not work, I guess. It will still not work. Okay, thank you, Viplav. I guess this should also do that. Thank you, Viplav. So this is something I missed out. So okay, so one difference between for off and for in is off will basically directly give you access to the element and not index. For in gives you access to the index. Okay, this will give you access to the index. This will directly give you to the access to the element. Okay, let x. Yeah, I was basically going to do that also, but I kind of like did the wrong thing. It was stupid. It basically directly gives access to the index. Okay, so any doubts, guys? Any doubts between all the loops? The code is right here. Any doubt, guys, till now? Any doubt till now? So we have basically kind of like, if you want to learn the for each loop, for that we will need to learn the functions. Okay, it's nothing like you see, it will basically have this arrow function. It will be confusing for you. Okay, and if I have to write the function, it will like this. Okay, so this will kind of be of confusing for you guys. So once we are done with functions, we will I'll explain you both the ways. This is one way of writing for each, and another way is just converting it to ES6 syntax. Okay, it is basically converting it to ES6 syntax. So this is another way. I'm just telling you, this is another way of writing the statement. And just ignore this. Okay, so we'll learn this tomorrow once you are done with the functions. Once I teach you the functions and the way of writing arrow functions, we will cover this for each loop in the tomorrow session. Okay, So today's homework is basically two things. Okay, just write. Let me write down in the notepad. So question one is basically uh, the conditional statement, right? What was the question one again, guys? I actually forgot. Can you just help me with what was the question one? So I can write. Let me just write question two till then. Okay, what is the question one again? Sumit, yeah, I'll talk about the full stack course. We will which we learn everything in detail right away. Okay. So I'll just figure out the question one again. I'll just give something to you guys. Okay. So now let me just explain you regarding our full stack course for the people who want to learn JavaScript in greater detail. Not only JavaScript, but your HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, React, Vue, all the everything in web development. What is available, right? So let me take you to our website. Okay. It's upgrade.in. So, okay, even before that, what I can do is actually I can show you the curriculum. I can actually show you the curriculum what we are teaching our students. Okay, I can actually show you the curriculum. Uh, where do I have the curriculum brochures? Okay, so this is basically the kind of brochure. So let me just explain you what all things we are doing. Okay, so you can see right here, right? Where is my YouTube chat again? Okay, so this is how we start. This is how we start. Offline course due to COVID, we are not able to do. That is the only thing which is stopping us. Once the COVID and everything is gone, we will start offline classes again. Okay. So you can see this is our full stack course. Okay. In this, I can tell you it's going to be a 6 months long course, a guaranteed placement course in which you will do 15 projects, actual live client side project, and you will learn everything from in web development. Basically, you start with the very basics, right? What is web development? And till the very end, like deploying your projects on cloud. Okay, and getting interview prepared and attending mock interviews, getting one-on-one mentorship, all live, not in YouTube but on a different portal. Okay. Yes, and one more thing is, if you buy our one of the courses, if you buy any one of our courses, you get all the other paid programs for free. If you buy any one of our Let's Upgrade courses, you get all the paid programs for free. Okay, so I'll just take you through the things we learn in HTML, sorry, in the web development full stack course. You can see, I'll just scroll you for you guys to see it. You'll learn HTML in great detail. Okay, so this is where we are currently. This is where like Viplav is kind of the student who is like studying, like whom I'm teaching right now in the PGP web development batch. So we have covered till here. So we have a very fresh batch if you want to join. No worries, I'll call you Sumedh, I'll get that sorted. Okay, so you don't have to put it on website, you have to fill the form. Okay, so now then you have table, media, forms, and CSS. Then you have Bootstrap, you have SAS, and JavaScript. You will go in everything in detail, like what is understanding the runtime, the variables, and you can see creating object methods, array of objects, then the DOM, everything in DOM. Then you have events, then you have the ES6 concepts like promises, async await, and other ES6 concepts, destructuring, and all those things. You learn something called as HTML canvas. You learn about fetch API, you learn about jQuery, and we are going to introduce GraphQL as well. And then you go on to the whole MERN stack. Okay, you go on to the whole MERN stack, that is Node.js, and you learn everything in Node.js, from basically building all your models and everything. Then you learn Express. What is Express? Setting up your servers, handling requests, authentication, and all those stuff, and uploading files. And then you go about learning about MongoDB. So we are using database as MongoDB. So all the CRUD operations in MongoDB. And then you go to React. Okay, so React is the one of the libraries which we teach, the front end library which we teach. We teach everything in detail about React. Then you go to learn something called as, before Vue.js, we also teach you Next.js. Okay, you will learn about Next.js, which is the framework built upon React. Okay, so we'll teach you about Next.js also, and you will learn about Vue.js also. So we are basically teaching you two two libraries, the top leading libraries in front-end development, all live like this interactive session. But instead of like 30-50 students, it is going to be just 15 students, selected 15 students, which whom we call, we like assess their profile, if they actually want to do the course, what is the expected output, and how we can place them in a better profile after the 6 months. Okay, so it's completely placement oriented, and if you want to switch your job, so we also do that, help you with that. Okay, so, and you'll see we have a list of 15 projects. Okay, so like let Netflix clone, job portal, Instagram lookalike. Okay, so all those things are there, and these are just a few projects which I've mentioned, right? And it's totally we give 100 placement guarantee if a student is doing all the mentioned thing in time, like doing their assignments, doing their projects, doing the client side project, and attending our mentoring calls. So you get mentored one on one, not in a group. You get one on one mentorship every week, so that we make sure, and you also make sure that you are growing each and every day. Okay, so the way, if you consider applying to the Let's Upgrades PGP program, you have to just fill this form. You have to just fill this form. Okay, I'll just put this form here. Okay, and the cost of the program on the website, I'll show you. The cost of the program on website is 29,600, but for people who will basically apply from this batch, okay, the 10 people. So every day I am giving people a discount to 10, whoever want to join or not join. Total 10 students I can like give this discount. You will get flat 5,000 off, and you can also have EMI options. Okay, so this becomes 2,000 rupees if you go for EMI after the discount. Okay, so in the initial days, right, in the initial days it will be, you can say, alternate days class. So currently like one batch is going on, it's running on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Okay, and from the second month onwards it goes on to everyday lectures, that from Monday to Friday everyday lectures. Okay, so it is, so you can again find the syllabus and everything in the website also. Okay, all you need to do is fill the form which I've mentioned. I'll just uh, put the form again here, and I'll pin it for your reference. If you want to join this course and learn with me everything in web development from the very basics to a very then in an interactive and fun way, you can be a part of this program, and we'll help you get placed. Okay, we'll help you get placed. So that's it, and we will meet tomorrow. So let's see tomorrow's agenda first. Okay, before we sign off and come back tomorrow, we'll see what we are going to learn tomorrow. Okay, so you can see we are coming to the very interesting part, DOM manipulation. Just a one small functions part is there in between. So maybe tomorrow itself we will start with the functions part, right? So how many days do I have with me? I have day 4 and day 5, right? I have 2 days with me. That's great. So what we'll do is, tomorrow we have to learn about functions. What are functions? What are parameterized functions? What are functions with arguments? And how to write different functions with, like, what are name functions? What are anonymous functions? Okay. So the discount code is just my name. The discount code is my name. Okay, I'll write my discount code very clearly here. So this is the discount code. I'll just increase the size. Okay, I'll just increase the size. So this is the discount code. Okay, just put this and you will get the 4,000 rupees discount. Okay, just put this, you will get the 4,000 rupees discount, and you will have to just pay 1,000 rupees. Okay, 1,000 INR rupees to book your seat. Okay, just 1,000 rupees to book your seat. You don't have to start right away. You can book it for future batches also. We have admissions done it, so don't worry, it will not do anything. I will call you tomorrow. Okay, nothing to do. I will call you tomorrow. Just fill the form. Is the form working? Is the form working? Let me check that. Let me check. Is the form working? Yes. Okay, so you can see you have to just fill the form here. Just give you all your details. Okay, and okay, do you don't have the place to put the income coupon code? Okay, so just me make, just let me put a field right here very quick. Okay, just let me make this real quick. So that's it. If you have a coupon code, you can put it, and now the form should work for you guys, right? So that's basically it. 1,000 rupees to book your seat. Remaining you can pay via EMIs. So we will meet tomorrow, right? And tomorrow we are going to learn about functions and the remaining for each part, and then basically I'll tell you, we will introduce you to the DOM, what is DOM, and how to basically fetch elements. Okay, we'll basically cover till something right till here, manipulating the DOM, right? And then we'll start with the project, a full-fledged project and DOM, right? Clear guys? Clear guys? Just give me a yes. Okay, is my chat dead again? Great, great. Thank you so much guys. So with that, I'll be signing off today, and I'll meet you tomorrow at the same time, 6:30 p.m. Okay, be there. So I'll be there by 6:15 to see the chats, right? We'll meet tomorrow and we'll take things forward. So see you tomorrow. Be safe, take care, and have a great day. So good night basically, right? Bye bye.